She pushed open the kitchen door with one hand while holding a small gift bag in the other. It was late. The house was quiet. Too quiet. She expected to hear the soft hum of her alien companion moving around, or maybe the clatter of dishes from his curious experiments with human cookware. Instead, she heard nothing at all. The silence felt strange, heavy, like the air had paused to listen. She stepped forward and stopped at once. Her breath caught in her throat. On the counter sat the birthday cake she had bought earlier in the day, a cake she had protected like treasure, a cake she had planned to deliver to her mother in the morning. But now half of it was gone, not a slice, not a neat cut. It looked ripped apart, like something had eaten it with fast, hungry bites. Her heart began to race. She set the gift bag down slowly. The sound of the bag touching the counter felt too loud. She looked around the kitchen but saw nothing out of place. Only the cake, the ruined cake. She moved closer and studied the edges. The bite marks were strange, uneven, too wide for a human, too sharp for an animal she knew. A chill crawled up her arms. She whispered hello even though she knew no one would answer. The silence returned like a thick blanket. Then she heard it. A soft sound from the far corner of the room, like someone shifting their weight. She turned fast and her pulse jumped even higher. Her alien companion stood there, his tall shape half hidden behind the shadows. His bright eyes locked on the cake with a mix of fear and confusion. His voice trembled when he spoke. Is it safe? Human, she blinked. Safe, she repeated the word slowly, as if it did not belong in this moment. It is a cake. Why would it be dangerous? He stepped closer to the counter, but kept his distance from the torn part of the cake. His body posture was cautious, alert. He said he felt strange energy coming from the dessert. He claimed he sensed it the moment she walked into the house. She almost laughed, but something in his voice made her stop. He was never afraid of human food. He had tried almost every snack in the pantry: chips, bread, cold noodles. But now he looked like the cake was a threat. She leaned in again to inspect it. Her eyes traced a dark scratch on the counter. She wiped it with her finger and felt the groove. Something had pressed hard into the surface. Something with strength far beyond hers. She swallowed hard. Did you do this? She asked him. He shook his head quickly. His hands rose in a defensive gesture. No, human, I did not touch your sweet circle of celebration. I only entered the room when I heard you call for me. She stepped back. If he did not touch it, then who did? The house had been locked, windows closed. Nothing should have entered. Yet something had, something hungry. Something bold enough to climb onto the counter and help itself to a birthday cake. She looked around. Again, the lights flickered. Once, twice. The alien tilted his head and said the energy was shifting. Like something was hiding. Like something else was breathing in the same room as them. Her skin prickled. She grabbed the nearest object, a wooden spoon. It felt useless, but holding it made her feel slightly braver. She turned her head toward the hallway. Darkness stretched out like an open tunnel. She whispered, "Who is here?" The alien moved to her side. His shoulder brushed hers. A small gesture of support. He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again with a sharp glow. Something was here, something that did not belong. He told her the crumbs carried unfamiliar signals, not human, not alien. Something new. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. The ruined cake now looked like a warning sign. Not a crime of hunger, but a message. Something had entered the house and tasted human food. Something that might still be hiding in the dark, waiting for another bite. She felt the story of the night shift around her. The air tightened. The unknown pressed closer. And she understood that this was only the beginning. The alien stood beside her with a tense expression in his bright eyes. He kept looking from the ruined cake to the dark hallway, as if both were threats waiting to move again. His hands rested on the edge of the counter, but he refused to go any closer to the half-eaten cake. He whispered again with rising concern. Is it safe, human? She stared at him in confusion. Why would he ask that? It was only a dessert. A birthday cake, something meant to bring joy and sweetness. But when she looked at his face, she understood his fear was real. His skin had taken on a faint shimmer that appeared only when he sensed danger around him. That shimmer told her he believed something harmful had entered their home. She asked him what he sensed. He pointed toward the crumbs that lay scattered across the counter. His voice dropped to a low, warning tone. He said the crumbs carried a strange pulse, a rhythm he had never felt on Earth, a rhythm that touched his senses in a way that made him uneasy. It felt wild, unstable, hungry. She picked up one of the crumbs and held it between her fingers. It felt normal, ordinary, just a small piece of cake. She lifted it toward her nose, but before she could smell it, the alien caught her wrist. He shook his head with urgency. Do not bring it close to your face, human. It carries unknown energy. Unknown energy. The words echoed through her mind. This was supposed to be a simple night, a quiet evening before her mother's birthday, a peaceful moment. Instead, the night had shifted into something strange and tense. She placed the crumb back down. Her voice cracked as she asked him again, "What do you mean unknown? What is here?" The alien did not answer right away. He walked slowly toward the hallway and raised his hand. A faint blue light spread from his palm. It flickered softly across the walls like a warning signal. He explained that the air held a trail of something alive. Something small but quick. Something that had moved through the room with fear and hunger. Something that did not belong to any species he recognized. Her stomach tightened. She followed him to the entrance of the hallway. The lights above them flickered again. A cold breath of air brushed across her face. She whispered into the darkness, "Is someone there?" Nothing replied, only silence. But the silence felt heavy, not empty. As if something listened from the shadows, the alien leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. He said the presence had left a pattern of movement. Steps that were too light to be human, yet too aware to be an animal from Earth. The pattern circled the kitchen, then moved behind the fridge, then returned to the cake. She imagined a small figure creeping onto the counter. She imagined it pressing tiny hands into the frosting. She imagined it tasting the cake with desperate hunger. Her heart sped up again. She asked him if it was dangerous. He did not know. He said fear and hunger lived together inside the creature's trail. That meant it might attack if threatened, but it might also hide if scared. She tightened her grip on the wooden spoon. She felt silly holding it, yet also comforted. Something about having an object in her hand made her feel prepared, even though she knew she was not. The alien moved past her and knelt by the floor. He traced his finger across a thin line scratched into the tile. The line was curved and sharp. It looked like a claw mark. A chill flowed through her body when she saw it. She asked him how something this small made such a deep mark. He replied that the creature might be young but strong. Many species in the universe grew powerful before. They grew wise. This young one perhaps acted on need not thought. She heard a soft sound from the back of the house. A gentle tap like something brushing against a wall. She and the alien both turned at once. The alien's glow intensified. He stepped protectively in front of her. The sound came again. A tap. A scrape. A tiny whimper that barely reached their ears. Her fear shifted into something else. Curiosity. Concern. The sound did not feel violent. It felt lonely. Like something small was calling out. She took one careful step forward. The alien placed a hand on her shoulder but did not stop her. He understood her nature. She always chose empathy first. Even in danger. She whispered into the darkness once more. "You can come out. We will not hurt you." Nothing moved. The house remained still, but both of them felt it. Something listened. Something breathed. Something waited. The night had changed. And they were no longer alone. The house felt different now. Not empty, not peaceful. It felt like the air itself carried a small heartbeat that did not belong to either of them. She stood still at the edge of the hallway and listened. Her own breath sounded too loud in her ears. The alien beside her stayed quiet with focused eyes that followed every small shift in the shadows. He lifted his hand again and allowed his blue glow to spread across the floor. The light revealed faint marks she had missed before. Tiny impressions. In the dust, not footprints from shoes. Not paw prints from an earth animal. These prints had a strange shape. Almost like fingers. Long and narrow. As if something walked using both hands and feet. She crouched down to look closer. The prints were messy. Some overlapped. Some dragged. Like the creature had moved fast. Maybe frightened. Maybe lost. She swallowed the lump rising in her throat. If it was scared, then what pushed it into her home? What chased it or forced it? To search for food in a strange place. The alien whispered that the energy around the prints was unstable. It felt like a young life form. New to the world, confused, desperate. He sensed no deep malice in the trail, but he sensed fear. Deep fear that wrapped around every step the creature took. She stood again and looked at the kitchen with new understanding. The half-eaten cake might not be an attack. Maybe it was the only food the creature found. Maybe it followed the smell and acted on pure need. Hunger made choices simple and painful. She knew that truth well. The alien moved toward the fridge. He paused and scanned the shadows behind it. He raised his hand and the glow deepened. "That is where it hit earlier," he said. "The energy is strongest here. It watched us from this corner before we entered the room." She felt her heartbeat quicken. The idea of unseen eyes studying her from the dark made her skin tighten with unease. Not hatred, not danger. Just the strange truth that something unfamiliar had been only a few steps away. She stepped closer to the fridge. A faint smell rose from behind it. Not rotten. Not chemical, just unusual. Like minerals and cold air mixed. Together, she leaned forward but pulled back quickly. Something shifted behind the metal surface. A soft scrape. Then silence again. The alien reacted first. He moved in front of her and raised his hand. His glow spread across the wall and revealed more claw marks. Thin but sharp. Marks made by a creature trying to hold itself steady. Or trying to climb. Or trying to hide. She asked quietly if the creature could be dangerous. He hesitated before answering. Anything scared enough to hide and hungry enough to steal might strike without thinking, he said. But he also believed the creature did not wish to harm. It left no signs of attack. Only signs of fear and hunger. Her eyes drifted to the half-eaten cake again. The bites looked wild, uneven, but not violent. More like a child rushing through. A meal after days without food. She felt her fear soften a little, not disappear, but shift into something more complex. She walked slowly to the pantry. The alien followed her with caution. She opened the door and looked inside. The shelves held cereal, crackers, canned food, all untouched. The creature had not searched here. It went straight for the cake. Maybe the bright frosting drew it. Maybe it reminded it of something from its own world. She closed the pantry and turned toward the hallway again. Light flickered once more. A soft tremble passed through the floor. She felt it in her feet. The alien looked down with concern. Something moved in the next room. Not heavy, not large, but present. They walked together toward the living room. Each step felt slow and careful. The wooden spoon still rested in her hand. It looked silly, yet she held it tightly. The alien walked close. Enough for their shoulders to brush gently. His presence gave her courage. As they reached the edge of the room, she saw movement. Not a full shape. Just a shadow crossing the light. Small, quick. It behind the couch and vanished. She froze. The alien whispered that the creature was trying to avoid them. It did not want to be seen. He felt its energy pulsing like a frightened heartbeat. Fast. Unsteady. Lost. She took a slow breath. Then another. She knew they could not let the creature run freely in fear. Fear could push it into danger. Or push it to attack. She needed to calm it. She needed to show it she meant no harm. She stepped forward and spoke softly into the room. It is all right. You are safe. We will not hurt you. The shadow behind the couch shifted again. The house grew still. The moment felt fragile, thin as glass. One wrong sound could shatter it. Then she heard it. A tiny cry. Soft. Trembling. The creature was not just hiding. It was afraid. The small cry from behind the couch changed everything. It was not a growl, not a hiss. Not the sound of a creature ready to attack. It was the kind of sound that came from something frightened and alone. Something that did not understand where it was, or who had found it. She felt her fear slowly untangle inside her chest. Not disappear, but soften into something warmer and more human. The alien heard it too. His posture lowered. His glow dimmed slightly. A sign that he no longer sensed immediate danger. He turned to her with a calm expression and nodded. They needed to move carefully. Any sudden motion might send the creature into panic. She took a slow step toward the couch. Her foot made a gentle sound on the floor. The creature shifted again and released another tiny cry. She spoke softly and kept her voice steady. It is all right. You are not trapped. We are not here to harm you. The alien added his voice to hers. His tone was low and peaceful. He called out in his native resonance. A soothing sound that spread across the room like warm air. The light in his hand floated gently between his fingers. Not bright enough to blind. Just soft enough to show he meant peace. Did something on the other side of the couch rustled. A small shadow appeared against the wall, then faded. The creature moved again, but not with the speed of fear. More like hesitant curiosity. As if it wanted to see them, but did not know how close it could get without risking danger. She crouched down and placed the wooden spoon gently on the floor. She no longer needed it. Then she opened her palm and rested it on the rug. Her hand stayed still. An open offer. A message that she was not going to attack. She could not see the creature yet, but she imagined it watching her hand, studying every beat of her breath, listening for any change in her voice. She kept her eyes warm and steady, every instinct in. Her body pushed her to stay calm even though her heart still raced with a mix of fear and hope. Behind her, the alien lowered his glow even more. His voice turned into a soft hum. He explained that young creatures often responded to gentle tones. It was the universal language of safety and care. She nodded without breaking her focus on the couch. A tiny shape appeared at last. A small head peeked out. Only for a moment. Big dark eyes glimmered from the shadows. They were filled with confusion and fear. The creature pulled back again, but not fully. It stayed close enough to watch them. She smiled gently. Her voice softened even more. You must be hungry. I understand. It is all right. You can come forward. The alien added that they would help it. His voice remained calm. His hands stayed lowered. He made no threatening movement. His glow rested like a quiet star in his palm. The small head appeared again, this time a little farther out. They saw more detail, soft fur along its cheeks. A slight shimmer on its skin, as if its body reflected light in a delicate pattern. It was not ugly. Not frightening. It looked young, fragile. The creature stepped forward with one tiny hand. Its fingers were long and thin. It pressed them lightly against the floor. Then another hand followed. Its small body crawled into the open enough to reveal itself. It looked no larger than a house cat. Its limbs were flexible. Its eyes bright with fright. but its mouth trembled in a way that felt painfully innocent. The alien whispered that it was wounded. She leaned in and noticed a faint scrape along the creature's leg. Nothing deep, but enough to make movement painful. Her heart broke a little at the sight. The creature must have struggled to climb onto the counter for the cake. She reached out her hand a little farther. Not fast, not sudden. The creature flinched but stayed. Its eyes moved from her hand to her face. It made a small whimpering sound. A sound that carried loneliness, hunger, and exhaustion. She whispered gently, "You are safe. We will help you. I promise." The creature took one hesitant step closer, then another. Its body shook with fear and hope at the same time. Finally, it reached her hand. It pressed its tiny fingers against her palm. The touch was light, trembling, trusting. The alien let out a slow breath. His glow warmed again, but with relief this time. The atmosphere in the room changed. The danger faded. Something fragile and new took its place. She lifted her other hand slowly and pointed toward the ruined cake in the kitchen. The creature looked at it and released a soft chirping cry. Not fear, not aggression. Something else. The alien listened closely. Then his eyes widened with understanding. It was not only hungry. It was calling for its mother. The moment the alien spoke those words, the entire room felt heavier. The creature calling for its mother explained everything in a heartbeat. The fear, the hunger, the strange presence, the trembling cries. It all made sense now. She looked down at the small being clinging to her palm. Its fingers were cold and shaking. Its eyes held a deep sadness that no young creature should ever carry. She lowered herself slowly to the floor so she could sit beside the couch. The creature moved closer to her with fragile steps. It pressed its forehead lightly against her hand as if searching for comfort. She felt her heart twist. Whatever this creature was, it did not come here to cause harm. It came because it had nowhere else to go. The alien knelt beside her. His glow dimmed into soft blue light. He studied the creature with a thoughtful and worried expression. He said he could sense emotional signals coming from it. Memories, fear, loss. He explained that some species released faint energy patterns when they were overwhelmed. If they could calm it enough, they might understand how it came here and what it wanted. She took a deep breath and nodded. She told the creature softly that they would help. Her voice carried warmth and sincerity. The creature looked up at her. Its eyes reflected the light like tiny stars caught in water. It let out another soft cry. Then something unexpected happened. A faint shimmer appeared around the creature, a small halo of pale light. The air surrounding it began to ripple gently. The alien leaned forward with surprise. He said the creature was attempting to share a memory. That meant it trusted them enough to open a window into its past. The ripples grew wider. The shimmer brightened. She felt a strange pull inside her chest, not painful, just new. Like a curtain lifting in the wind. Then the room around them melted into a blur of light and sound, not a full vision. More like fragments, pieces of a moment. She saw a dim cave filled with glowing crystals. A small family of creatures curled together for warmth. Their fur shimmered in patterns like starlight on water. The smallest one looked just like the creature in her lap. Then the vision shifted into darkness. A violent tremor shook the cave. A loud crack echoed. The mother creature pushed her child toward an opening. The little one cried and fought to stay, but its mother forced it out. The entrance sealed behind them. The child was alone. The memory cut sharply. The kitchen came back into focus. The creature fell against her arm with a soft whimper. Exhausted, trembling, the alien gently touched its back and confirmed what they already knew. Its planet or shelter had collapsed. It had survived, but its mother had not escaped. The little creature had wandered until it found something that smelled familiar. Something sweet. something like the glowing crystals from its world. The birthday cake. She felt tears sting her eyes. The idea of this small being traveling through strange places with an injured leg and terrified heart made her chest ache. She wrapped her hands gently around it, not tight, just enough to let it know it was no longer alone. The alien spoke softly. He said the creature must have come through a tear, a fracture in space left behind by natural cosmic stress. These tears opened at random and closed quickly. The little one might have been pushed through such a tear without knowing what it was. It might be unable to return. That was why it cried. Not only from fear or hunger, but from knowing it had no home to go back to. She whispered that they would help it find a new place. Maybe even find a way to reopen the tear. Her voice carried determination. The alien nodded. He believed they could. Search for signs of the tear. They could track the energy. They could find answers. But their time might be limited if the tear was unstable. She looked down at the creature again. It rested its small head against her arm and closed its eyes. It trusted her now, fully, completely. That trust felt like a fragile gift. When she refused to break. Then the alien's glow flickered. He looked toward the window with sudden worry. He sensed something else. A new energy, stronger, moving fast toward their home. Something was tracking the creature. Something older. Something powerful. The night was no longer just about a lost child. Now it was about whoever had followed it. The truth had opened a door, and something was stepping through it. The alien's glow flickered. Again, stronger, sharper, a sign he sensed. Something approaching the house. He rose to his feet and stepped toward the window. His eyes narrowed as he focused on the quiet darkness outside. The night looked still, but he felt movement in the air. A ripple of energy that did not belong to Earth. Something powerful was searching and closing in on their location. She held the small creature closer. It trembled against her chest with tiny breaths that shook like falling leaves. She whispered soothing words into its fur. Words meant to comfort and protect. The creature clung to her shirt with weak fingers, as if she was the only anchor it had left in the world. The alien turned to her with urgency. He explained that the energy approaching was not from the same species as the young creature. It felt older and stronger. Its pattern held no gentleness, no hesitation. It moved with a clear purpose. It was hunting, not for food, but for the creature itself. Her heart tightened. She asked if it wanted to harm the little one. The alien answered with a heavy voice. It was possible. In many worlds, young creatures were taken by predators who fed on their fear, or by beings who used them as tools, or by species who believed lost young ones were dangerous threats that must be eliminated. They could not assume mercy. The creature heard the alien's tone and let out a frightened cry. Its small body shivered harder. She held it closer and stroked its head. She told it firmly that she would not let anything happen to it. Her voice shook, but her promise did not. The alien warned her gently that protecting the creature could bring danger to both of them. If the being outside was powerful, then they risked their own safety by keeping the young one inside the house. The wise choice might be to stay hidden, stay quiet. Let the creature escape on its own. That would remove them from the conflict and keep her safe. She looked at the alien in disbelief. She understood the logic. She understood the danger. But the creature in her arms was young, lost, hurt, alone. It had already lost its mother. Sending it out into the night would be the same as abandoning it. It would not survive. She shook her head with determination, her voice steady. I will not let it face this alone. I will protect it, even if it is dangerous. Even if something stronger comes, I will not walk away. The alien studied her face. His expression softened. He knew humans made choices guided by emotion rather than calculation. This was one of those choices. A human choice. a choice that defined their species. They protected the vulnerable, even when the odds were against them. They cared when others turned away. He lowered his glow and nodded with quiet respect. Very well, human. If you choose to protect the young one, I will stand with you. She felt a wave of relief, not because the danger was gone, but because she was not alone. They would face whatever came together. They prepared quickly. She carried the creature into the kitchen and placed it gently in a small basket lined with cloth. The creature curled into the softness and watched her with wide, trembling eyes. She told it to stay hidden and stay brave. It nodded slightly, a small gesture, but full of trust. The alien moved to the front of the house and extended his hands. His glow spread across the walls like a shield. Not strong enough to block a full attack, but enough to slow something down. Enough to protect her long enough for them to react. Outside, the wind shifted. A deep rumble rolled across the yard. Not thunder, not machinery. Something alive, something heavy. Slow footsteps approached the porch. Each step vibrated through the floor. The creature in the basket whimpered softly. She rushed to its side and whispered soothing words again. The alien called out to her. "It is here." The doorknob rattled, once, twice, then the door shook as if something pressed its weight against it. She felt her breath catch. The alien braced himself. His glow brightened again. She stepped forward. She placed one hand on the alien's arm. The other she kept close to the creature. Fear pulsed through her, but she held her ground. This was her choice. She would protect the young creature, even if something powerful came for it, even if danger filled the night like a storm ready to break open. The door trembled again. A deep growl echoed from the other side, and the moment of truth arrived. The door shook again under the weight of whatever stood outside. The alien raised both hands and strengthened the glowing shield across the room. The light spread like a protective wave that covered her and the frightened young creature. She felt her heartbeat pounding in her ears, yet she refused to step back. She had made her choice, and her choice would not break now. The air grew cold. The windows trembled. Each second stretched like a long-held breath until the door finally burst open with a loud crack. A tall shadow filled the doorway. The shape was massive. Its shoulders almost touched the frame. Its eyes glowed with a fierce golden light as it scanned the room. The creature in the basket cried out with a desperate sound. It curled deeper into the cloth and shook violently. The alien stepped forward with his shield raised to full strength. She stood close behind him, though every instinct in her body screamed to run. But she stayed. She held her ground for the small creature that trusted her. The giant being took one heavy step into the room. Its breath sounded deep and powerful. Its body looked armored with natural plates that shimmered like dark stone. Its gaze landed on the basket, and a low growl echoed across the kitchen. The alien reacted at once. He sent out a burst of blue light, not an attack, a signal of peace. The giant paused. Its growl softened but did not vanish. It stepped closer and lowered its large head. Its golden eyes narrowed as if searching for hidden danger. She felt the creature inside the basket grab her hand with shaking fingers. She squeezed gently and whispered that everything would be all right even if she did not fully believe it yet. The alien spoke calmly to the giant. He explained that they had protected the young one. He explained that the creature was injured and hungry. He explained that no harm had been done to it. His voice remained steady. The blue glow carried a message of truth and safety. The giant listened, though its breath still rose and fell with tension. Then something unexpected happened. The giant knelt, slowly, carefully. Its massive claws rested on the floor with surprising gentleness. It leaned closer to the basket. The young creature peeked out with trembling eyes. It released a tiny cry, a cry of recognition, a cry of longing. She realized at once, This giant was not a hunter. It was a guardian, not a threat, a protector. The being outside their door had come searching not to harm, but to save the last surviving young one from a destroyed world. The giant released a deep, mournful sound, a soft rumble that carried grief. It reached one massive hand toward the tiny creature. The little one crawled out of the basket and touched the claw with its small palm. Their lights shimmered together. A bond reunited. She felt tears rise in her eyes. The alien lowered his shield completely. The room filled with warm silence. A silence that felt like a healing breath. But the moment was not over yet. A bright ripple of energy appeared in the air behind the giant. A swirling portal opened with soft golden waves. It looked stable and controlled. Not like the chaotic tear that brought the young creature here. This portal belonged to the guardian. A doorway home. Before stepping inside, the giant turned its head toward her. Its eyes softened. It touched the floor with one claw in a gesture of gratitude. The little creature looked back at her with a tiny sparkle of joy. It pressed its head against her hand one last time. A goodbye filled with trust and love. Her voice cracked with emotion. Stay safe, little one. Go home. The giant lifted the young creature gently and stepped through the portal. Light wrapped around them like a warm blanket. The portal shimmered, then faded into the air until nothing remained but silence and the soft echo of peace. She took a long breath. The alien placed a hand on her shoulder. He told her she had done something rare, something powerful. She had protected a life not even from her world. She had trusted her human heart even when danger stood at her door. This was the true spirit of humanity. Compassion stronger than fear. Morning arrived with soft golden light through the window. Her mother rang the doorbell. She rushed to open it with a smile still wet with emotion. Her mother gasped when she saw the birthday cake on the counter, repaired with glowing patterns left behind from alien technology. Floating stars hovered above it like tiny lanterns. Her mother laughed with delight. This is the most magical birthday cake I have ever seen. She smiled and whispered softly, You have no idea. And somewhere across worlds, a young creature who once cried in fear now slept safely in the arms of its guardian. A story she would never forget. A night that changed everything. A birthday she would remember forever.